Guitar tips, just the tips, just for you. Guitar tips. Hello and welcome to Guitar Tips. My name is Adam Levy. This is my weekly video blog series. I post a brand new tip here each and every Friday. Some weeks I talk a lot up front. Some weeks I just get right into the tip. This is one of those weeks. Let's get into it. Guitar tip number 93. Let's demystify diminished chords. Let's demystify diminished chords. So let's. All right, so the first thing is, let's get the sound of a diminished chord and the shape of a diminished chord. This is one of the most common shapes. I'm playing, if you can't see here, I'm on the first four strings of the guitar, and I'm playing from low to high, second fret, third, 2, 3, 2, 3. And the actual notes are E, B flat, D flat, and G. So that's a pretty common kind of diminished seventh grip. I would call that E diminished seventh, just because E is the lowest note, and we can name it by the bass note or the root here. Okay. And I'll show you two other pretty easy to grab grips. This is another one. Now I'm on the middle four strings. You can't see my right hand, but if you could, you'd see I'm indicating we're just on the middle four strings now. And the fret numbers are 4, 5, 3, 5. And I'm playing the same notes as here, but just in a slightly different order. D flat, G, B flat, and E. And that's a movable shape. Here, I'd probably call that D flat diminished seventh or C sharp diminished seventh. Again, just naming it from the lowest note. We don't always do that with diminished chords, but it's a fairly common practice. And then here's one more grip. This is a little trickier because it involves a kind of mini inside bar. I'm using my index finger to get strings 2, 3, 4, like an A chord. But then I add my ring finger on the third string at the third fret, and my middle finger on the sixth string at the third fret. You all know that, right? Like the strings are numbered from treble to bass. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is yet another scrambling of the same chord that we started with, same four notes. So now I'm playing G, E, B flat, D flat, or C sharp. So these these three chord grips are the same four notes, just scrambled around into different string sets and different registers on the guitar. Now, so part of the mystery is just the sound. It's kind of unresolved. But part of the mystery is this weird symmetry, how you can keep scrambling the four notes around, and check this out. If you stay on the first four strings and stay with this shape that we started with, if you go up 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, same grip, new position, 5, 6, 5, 6, I'm playing the same four notes, G, D flat, E, B flat. And I can repeat that at the 8th fret, 8, 9, 8, 9, and I'm playing B flat, E, G, D flat. And again at 11, I'm playing 11, 12, 11, 12. That's D flat, G, B flat, E. So pretty interesting. Like if you try that with any other kind of four-note chord, like a G major 7 here, if you move that up 3 frets, you get a totally different chord, and again, it's different. But if you move this shape or any of these shapes up 3 frets, you get the same notes, just inverted or scrambled. So that's kind of mysterious. There's really not another 4-part chord that has the same kind of portable. I don't even know what the word is, but you see that's unusual in music to have a chord like that. So that's one of the things that's mysterious. But the main thing that I wanted to unravel today is how diminished chords move in functional harmony. In other words, within a chord progression, how do diminished chords go? How can we use diminished chords in our own writing or in our own harmonization of songs? And what are the classic ways that composers and songwriters have been using diminished chords that we can look at and borrow from? So I'll show you a few different ways around that. So let's be in the key of C here for a moment, okay? In the key of C, there are 3 major chords, C, F, and G, and 3 minor chords, A minor, E minor, and D minor. In no particular order, I'm just grabbing them as they are. So if you're writing a song in the key of C, it's those are the common chords that you'll use in your chord progression. But if you want to add some diminished chords, you can use diminished chords to kind of create a little more tension and then ultimately resolution. So one way to do that is to use a diminished 7th chord a half step below the root of any diatonic chord. So if I'm in C and I want to go to A minor, instead of just going to A minor, I could pass through G sharp diminished 7th. And that's not just coming from C. Any chord in C, to get from whatever chord you're on in the key of C to the A minor, you could still use that diminished chord. So if we were on F, we could go F, G sharp diminished 7th, A minor. If I wanted to get to D minor from A minor, I'd go C sharp diminished 7th, D minor. And because of the weird symmetry that we looked at a few minutes ago and how these chords repeat every 3 frets, we also could use a diminished chord a whole step above the root of where we're going. So if I want to go from C to A minor, I could go through G sharp diminished or through B diminished. So C, B diminished 7th, A minor. Now I want to go to F, so I'll go A minor, G diminished 7th to F. Now I want to get to D minor, so I'll pass through E diminished 7th. And then I want to get to G, so I'll go D minor, A diminished 7th, G, or F sharp diminished 7th, G. And then we can get back home to C. And you could try all the different variations of that. I'm not going to play every variation, but again, we're going into the diatonic triads of the key. We're in C, so we have C, F, G, A minor, D minor, E minor. And we can get to any of those chords via a diminished chord with the root a half step below where you're going or a whole step above where you're going. That's one way to use diminished chords. Then another way that's a little less common, but I think very beautiful, is as a one diminished chord. So if we're in the key of C, C diminished and back to C, that sound, you hear it in the Maple Leaf Rag by Scott Joplin. I don't think that's composed in C, but if it were, we could play C diminished 7th. I don't know if you can see that, I'm just up here. So I'm going from C diminished 7th to C. There's an old song called Neverland or Never Neverland, which is from the Broadway stage production of Peter Pan. It's not in the Disney movie, but if you have like an original Broadway cast recording, there's a song that goes, I know a place where dreams are born and time is never planned. So that's a 1 diminished. Bally High from the musical Bally High. And there's from the musical South Pacific. And there's a song from Willy Wonka, Pure Imagination. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. So it's a really kind of heartstring tugging chord, but it's been kind of lost. I don't know. I don't hear it in a lot of modern songs. If you know of an example of a 1 diminished chord in a modern pop song or jazz song or any modern song of any style, let me know. I'd love to know about it. My email here is guitartips@adamlevy.com. So a variation on the 1 diminished, because of, again, this funny 3-fret symmetry, is the sharp 4 diminished. So you hear that often as going, like if we're in C, we'll go 4, sharp 4 diminished to 5, or 4, sharp 4 diminished to back to 1, but with the 5 in the bass. So I'm playing F sharp diminished 7th, C with a G in the bass, and it could be in any key. If we're in the key of A, that's D. Excuse me. If we're in the key of A, that's D sharp diminished 7th, A. So that's a neat sound. Another sound that's where the 1 diminished gets used in a different way is as a downward motion. Like, let's say in the key of A, if I wanted to go from first inversion A to B minor. So this is A over C sharp going to B minor. Based on what I said earlier, you might think we're going A sharp diminished to B minor, and that's certainly a cool sound. But you can also use diminished chords going down, and we could go so that's first inversion A, or A over C sharp up here, if you'd rather play it up here. It's common enough voicing. And then C diminished 7th, and then B minor 7th. So that's a pretty common sound in old-fashioned kind of, again, Broadway show tunes, Tin Pan Alley. And a variation on that is first inversion 1 chord, and then this is an F7 with C in the bass, B minor, or B minor 7. That's a neat sound. I love that. So those are several different uses for the diminished chord. Another thing worth mentioning, also quite mysterious, I think, about the diminished chord. I'm just looking at my monitor here. I'm backlit, and there's probably lots of glare, but hopefully you can still see my hands and that this makes some sense. The diminished chord, as a 4-part chord, there's just those notes. If we're in A, say that's A, C, E flat, F sharp, or G flat if you like. But there's 4 other tones that we can use for harmonic color, and they are the tones a half step below each of the chord tones. So really neat, because that makes it the whole scale actually. It's an 8-note scale starting on A, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. A, B, C, D, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, or F sharp, G sharp, A. So any of those and any of the 4 notes of the diminished chord, you can also include a note a half step below or whole step above. So you may have heard that sound. It's a beautiful, mysterious sound that gets us a little bit away from the, he grabbed her and tied her to the railroad tracks kind of aspect of the diminished chord. Once you get these color tones, so something that's neat to experiment with is just A diminished, going back and forth between A major and A diminished. And back to A major. That's such a lovely sound. It really seems to be lost to songs of another era. So there's so much more that I could say about diminished chords. I'm sure some of you will write in and say, oh, you forgot to mention this or that. There's just not enough time in a guitar tip to say everything there is to say about diminished chords. But I hope that this tip has helped to demystify diminished chords for you a little bit, and I hope that you will continue to explore on your own. That's why I'm calling this Let's Demystify Diminished Chords, and not, hey, I'm going to demystify them. I'm going to do some of the work and you'll do some of the work, and that's as it should be. Thanks to Martin Guitar Strings for their continuing support of guitar tips. And thanks to you. If you are not already a subscriber, I hope that you will become a subscriber. It's so easy to do. It will be the easiest part of your whole day. There's a red button. It's more like a bar than a button, but it says subscribe on it. Click it once, boom, done. Thank you very much. Until next week, for Guitar Tips, I'm Adam Levy. Stay tuned and take good care.